For a special note about moving forward with these recommendations and their integration in HIV services for women living with HIV, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Meg Doherty, Director of the Department of Global HIV, Hepatitis and Sexually Transmitted Infections Programs at the World Health Organization. Dr. Doherty was previously the coordinator of treatment and care in the Department of HIV at World Health Organization headquarters. She has more than 25 years of experience working in HIV and infectious diseases, including leading World Health Organization's normative and programmatic work focusing on expanding HIV treatment to all and reducing inequalities in access to the most effective antiretroviral drugs for people living with HIV. Dr. Doherty, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And I'm very pleased to be with you this afternoon and as we're launching these important guidelines. And it's really my honor to be able to add a few statements to introduce a very excellent video that you're going to see in just a moment. What we know and what we've heard from Shona just now is that HIV infection disproportionately affects vulnerable girls and women, as does cervical cancer. And worldwide, we know that cervical cancer is the fourth most common cancer among women, with the greatest burden in low and middle income countries. And as you heard from Shona with the review, women living with HIV have a 6 times greater risk of cervical cancer than women who do not have HIV. So although we've made really great gains in life expectancy and access to HIV care and treatment, we until now haven't had as much focus on the resources needed to prevent and treat cervical cancer. So we want to make sure that women's lives are not cut short prematurely due to cervical cancer because it's an entirely preventable condition through vaccination, screening, and treatment. So we want to make sure that if we do well with HIV, that we also do just as well with cervical cancer. This update to the WHO recommendations on screening and treating to prevent cervical cancer is an important part of that effort and has been a really excellent collaboration between the departments of my department, HIV, hepatitis and STI, and the sexual and reproductive health department. And as you heard, in just about a week and a half, we'll be launching updated consolidated guidelines on HIV. And these updated guidelines also aims to bring about a public health approach with a patient-centered, and in this case, a woman-centered approach. So we believe all of these guidelines are important to cross-reference each other and to cross-reference the important new recommendations around screening and treating to prevent cervical cancer, focusing on those living with HIV. It is important to improve cervical cancer prevention in the countries with the highest burden. And you saw that in the maps that Shona showed, where in Southern Africa, we have this high coexistent burden. And we have to ensure that we can integrate these services so that we can have areas that will spur efficiencies and simplify the delivery for those most in need. What we know is that comprehensive people-centered care across the life course is critical to secure healthy lives. And we see the prioritization of integrating prevention, screening, and treatment services for both HIV and cervical cancer as a vital part of this effort. So it's really my distinct pleasure to now introduce a video and let you hear from Margaret Happy. She's a woman living openly with HIV and a cervical cancer survivor, and she'll be discussing her experiences with both screening and treatment. Thank you very much. And back to you.
Coming.
Perhaps a comment to our IT. Do we have the video of Margaret happy to share?
It's coming.
Executive Director of Advocacy for Quality Health, Uganda. I'm 46 years. My life was very normal before I tested for cervical cancer. But after testing for cervical cancer, my story changed. I felt so scared because I'm a single parent and taking care of a big family. So, and a breadwinner, I felt so scared. I started introducing my kids to many of my friends so that preparing for separation, to me that was what was in my mind. And I stopped making long-term plans. I started making short-term plans. My main sources of support was from the community of people living with HIV. My biggest challenge, and it is still a challenge right now, disclosing to my mother, who is my caretaker. She is my treatment supporter for HIV. But she does not know this other arm of cervical cancer. So disclosing to her is a big challenge to me. I would like to share my story with the globe because I would like to encourage many women out there to undergo for cervical cancer screening. And if they don't have it, well and good. But if they test positive, they should undergo treatment at an early stage. It wasn't painful, but I was just stressed because of the word cancer. Because the moment someone hears cancer, you start thinking about death. My life has actually changed. It is normal, especially after getting the assurance from the health workers that after undergoing cryotherapy, I will be normal. Now I'm even making my long-term plans. It can be prevented, it can be treated, it can be cured when we act as early as possible.
Thank you so much, Dr. Doherty, and many thanks to Margaret. Margaret's story is similar to stories of most women whose lives have been impacted negatively by cervical cancer across the world. So thank you for sharing your story. It is clear from what we have heard, and it is that whenever the World Health Organization makes recommendations, they weigh the benefits and harms of the recommendations, but also extensively looks at the feasibility and acceptance of these recommendations, and also the values and preferences of those who are served by the recommendations. Importantly, the World Health Organization carefully considers the implementation considerations. These recommendations will only serve women and save lives if they are implemented.